I'm Maria.
Hi, I'm Tim.
I'm Teresa.
I'm Paige.
I'm Nancy.
I'm Jack.
Hi, I'm Rob.
I'm Jack.
Imagine you all are back in high school. You just got through a long week of tests and projects and it's finally Friday. All you want to do is to relax for the weekend. But then you remember that you have a lot of homework and you only have 2 days off from school. Well, what if you had 3 days off? Many schools are starting to switch to a 4-day school week instead of 5. Students K through 12 are forced unnecessarily to attend school for 5 days out of the week and only 2 days for a break. As humans, we have shaped our lives around this idea that we have to work for 5 days and only rest for 2. As you can see from this graph, only 25 states in the country have changed to a 4-day school week. And the green states, which are Oregon, Idaho, South Dakota, Colorado, and New Mexico, have over 20% of schools in their state that have made the switch, which shows that it is very effective. I'm a senior in high school, and I have been going through this school week for the majority of my life at this point, and it is, as the years have gotten harder and harder, it has gotten more mentally draining to not have a lot of break from my school week and gotten more homework that I have to still do when I have a break. And I'm sure that you all felt the same when you were in school. You wanted as much time away from school as possible, and I'm sure you hear from your kids all the time, if you have kids, that they complain about having to go to school a lot as well. Today I'm going to discuss the benefits of the shorter school week, which is improved attendance and motivation in the classroom from teachers and students, higher grades and test scores, and less constraints on the school's budget. Attendance and enthusiasm has improved within students as well as teachers. After a longer break, students are likely to feel way more refreshed and feel the less need to take time away from school. Before the change, according to Shanna Myers at Apache Junction Unified District in Arizona, students were less invested and treated school more casually. But after the change, they obviously felt more motivated to go because they had more time away. The same goes for teachers. They feel a lot more motivated to stay in school as well, and they can schedule appointments or things for their children on the day that they have off. And that means that there's less need for substitute teachers, and the teacher can focus on making sure that the students understand what they're teaching in the classroom instead of having someone else do it. Teachers also usually had a planning day on Saturdays or Sundays, but now they can change that to having it on Monday or Friday, depending on which day they take off, and they still have a longer break as well. Most schools that have made this change have actually had a longer school day since they took off a day from the week. This actually means that they can get a lot more done within the classroom. And most schools are required to have students attend for a present number of hours, not days, according to Scotty Hendricks at bigthink.com. This means less homework, and they don't have to spend a lot of time doing the work at home since they utilize their class time a lot more efficiently. The next benefit of this change is that grades have improved with having less days in the school week. According to Mark Anderson at Montana State University, one of the biggest worries is that the shortened schedule would compromise student performance, which makes the results more interesting and all the more policy relevant, since there's not really a negative effect on grades or test scores with this change. Most schools that have done this actually see a positive impact or none at all, which doesn't make it a negative thing to do. In Colorado, they take Colorado Student Assessment Program tests, which are basically benchmark tests that show how a student improves in science, reading, writing, and math. A study by MIT Press Journals shows how the scores were affected going from a 5-day school week to a 4-day school week. And it actually shows a positive correlation between these two. And as you can see from this chart, the 4th grade reading score went from a 60.8 2 years before they made the change, and then 2 years after they made the change, it went to a 71, which was a very significant increase and not that much time. Finally, the last impact from this is that it can positively impact a school's budget. This means that there is less money spent on buses and transportation for the students, since they don't have to go to school, obviously, and less money spent on food for lunches. For example, Wendell School District has made this change and has seen a very positive impact on the amount of money that they spend on transportation. And Gary Sims, the principal at McRae Senior High School, says that they save on busing, on utilities, and on maintenance time for their school, which adds up to be a lot of money in the long run, which after multiple years of doing it can be a very significant impact on the budget for the school. As I said before, there's less subs that need to be paid because the teachers are more present, which means that they save money paying for the substitute teachers to come in. In conclusion, we can see how attendance has improved within a classroom, as well as the motivation and enthusiasm for being there, which isn't that present now because students really don't want to go to school as much as they do. We can see improvements on test scores and grades, or none at all, which isn't necessarily bad, as well as the way that the budget benefits from this change. So next time that this topic comes up for your school district, you know the benefits of it and why you should enforce it for your school. Soon, hopefully, we will not have to imagine this change and it will become a reality for us.